Hey friends, I did a little grinding off stream for this beast. You can get it from the Templar encounter. I recommend Master Mode because if you've completed all the Volta Glass weapon patterns, you get the more rows of perks, which makes getting that god roll all the more likely. But if you do have the pattern, I think there's some wacky stuff you could do with Osmosis to help you proc this new perk called Elemental Honing. When this weapon initially dropped, this is the perk that intrigued me the most. And the reason why, and if you don't know how this perk works, is landing elemental hits. So think your Void Grenade, your Arc Energy weapon. If you're on Prismatic, you could use like a Strand Melee or something like that. One stack is 10%, and you can see that changes the crit to body shot ratio. But the crazy scientist in all of us wants to see what happens when you get to all 5 stacks. When you become Avatar the Last Airbender and hit him with all the elements, it's a 40% damage increase, which is a 2-tap on tier 6 resilience and under, and this might be relevant again in the future when we get the weapon stat in Edge of Fate. But for now, to guarantee the 2-tap, you can do that in one of 2 ways. It's either Elemental Honing times 5, and then you pick up an orb off the floor to get Weapon Surge, or you do something like Elemental Honing 3 or 4 with a Radiant Dodge. So I guess it would be Elemental Honing 4. Otherwise, you're stuck at tier 9 and under, but you could also just pick up an orb and it would be guaranteed. So that's the 2 methods. So now I have to talk about this crazy build inspired by Stadia time. Initially, when I used this gun the first time I had it, I farmed just a regular version that happened to have this perk combination with opening shot elemental honing. I went on my Prismatic Warlock and I made an Avatar build. However, Stadia time was cooking. He hit me up on Twitter with this tweet.
Excuse me,
that's times 2.
Sorry for the quality.
This build to me.
Yeah, I'll explain in a second.
Understand the copium.
That's times 3. Radiant, 2-tap. Fuck, he slid. Thank you. What the fuck do you mean copium? Was that copium? Huh? Was that watch this. Is this copium? Is that copium? Huh? How about this one? Is that copium? Huh?
Perfectly cut scream. He's so funny. And so here's how he's getting it done.
2.
Let's see if the quality improves a little here. So it's hard light, plus radiant, elemental honing, and then you can get 2 taps, just like I explained on D2 Foundry.
Go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Test this shit. Let's see. 1, 2.
So he's cycling elements.
3.
Now he's at elemental honing times
Melee.
3. Now he gets radiant and it 2 taps. Once again, sorry for the Twitter quality. I'm not gonna download these videos and request, hey, send me the clip, man. Just y'all understand what's going on in the background. A lot of us grew up on 360p 480 videos. I'm a grandpa.
Ooh, elemental holding times 3. Ooh, elemental holding times 3. Bop. And now for the main event. Ooh, elemental holding times.
Okay, so you understand how it works. Low quality aside, crank that SpongeBob video with Patrick. You know what it is from just 4 pixels. So you definitely understand what's going on. What else do we got here? What was my reply to this? My reply is just hey, I did some farming. And that's what brings us to today's video. And look at some replies here. He goes, I'm out of the loop. What do you mean osmosis on Fatebringer? So now I have to introduce TJ Henryoshi to the concept of a half grapple. All you do is just use happy or grapple, and it turns your weapon into a strand element. Then you proc elemental honing off itself, swap off of the weapon and then back to it, and it's a kinetic weapon again. You get a 10% damage increase for landing a shot while using a half grapple. So it's a very good way to cycle your abilities. So now let's talk about the build, now that you know the power of the half grapple. So we do Radiant Dodge, obviously. We get our Stasis element from Withering Blade. Notice that I have tier 5 strength, but when I pick up an orb, Font of Vigor with 2 of these is like having 100 strength. So the fastest cooldown possible. Then I use Hard Light to give me Void, Arc, and Solar. So as long as I use the Strand Half Grapple, land a shot, swap to Hard Light, cycle the 3 elements, I'm at 4. And when I'm at Elemental Honing times 4, that's when I can kick an Acrobat Dodge off. And in all reality, I probably picked up a kill or 2 which means with Radiant Dance Machines, I've stacked up 2 Radiant dodges. So anytime I have an extra Radiant dodge, I just burn it, hoping that I create an orb from Reaper, which if I pick up, it gives me 100 recovery, and the weapon surge that allows me to 2-tap on Elemental Honing times 5. And then past that, I just have prismatic goodness. Sometimes I get a strand element from proccing Facet of Solitude. Sometimes I'll proc stasis element from using the Transcendence Grenade, and so forth. The best part about this perk is it lasts 20 seconds. So what you can do is build up to Elemental Honing times 4, pop your Radiant dodge, 2-tap a lot of people, and then right before it runs out, at like, I don't know, the 5-second mark, fish for hitting them with a Withering Blade, which will also give you Radiance, but also it'll proc Elemental Honing times 5 and give you another 20 seconds of Carnage. Is this build copium? Absolutely. But it's silly, and honestly, it was fun. It was fun to turn my brain off. I barely got kicked out of Skill Island, so I started running into players that didn't shoot back at me, and all of a sudden this build started performing. Who would have thought? All it takes, though, is me just dropping like 30 kills in a lobby, and the matchmaking throws me right back into Skill Island. So I hope you enjoyed these clips. Thank you, Stadia Time, for the inspiration to take this out again. It was a lot of fun. I hope to duo with you in the future sometime. Pull out Shadebinder again. Take care, friends. Enjoy. Oh, hell no. Oh, thank you. You're the best. You gotta reload. What's this? Oh, I need this. I'll just do one. Did you fall off the map? Okay, good. Oh, I'm still times 3? Shit. What flavor do I need? Lucky me. Two taps. That was not the last word, that was the last compound word. Oh my goodness, what a wombo combo for elemental honing. Oh my god, I choked so bad. Demon mode. If that hits the 50 damage, I'm stunned. I'm stunned at this connection. Let it go. Okay. That's Jill. You can have it, dog. I don't want it. I'm risking it. Oh. Yeah, this build is not just jumping through hoops. This one is POV, you're a SEAL, and you just renewed your contract with SeaWorld